1994 gave us towering icons, The Shawshank Redemption, Pulp Fiction, Forrest Gump, but the year hid deeper treasures. Beyond those box office legends lie 10 films brimming with grit, wonder, and overlooked brilliance. If you think you know 94, press play. These stealth classics will rewrite your memory of a legendary movie year. We're starting our journey under the intense artificial glare of a television studio. Cameras rolling. The audience dead silent. The tension, you could cut it with a knife. This is the world of high-stakes quiz shows back in the 1950s. But here's the unsettling twist. The answers are already scripted. This is Quiz Show. It takes you inside that polished, glamorous world where intelligence is supposed to be king. But you quickly see the real ruler is ratings. Always ratings. At the heart of it is Charles Van Doren, played by Ralph Fiennes, with that perfectly calm, brilliant smile that slowly, almost imperceptibly, starts to crack. He's from a prestigious background, a man of intellect facing a profound ethical dilemma, caught between his integrity and the network's relentless drive for more viewers, more eyeballs. What makes this film so potent is how it tells its story. It doesn't shout at you. The tension builds slowly, word by careful word, peeling back the deception, revealing the rotten core beneath the shiny exterior. And this isn't just fiction. It's based on a real scandal that rocked the nation, ended careers, shattered public trust in television, and tanked ratings for months. A massive cultural moment. So why did Quiz Show get overlooked in a year like 1994? Maybe it felt too cerebral, too polished, almost literary, compared to the louder, flashier films that stole the spotlight. But do not mistake its restraint for lack of power. This film burns, quietly. And when that final answer is delivered and the canned applause rolls in, you don't feel triumph, you feel guilt, heavy, lingering, still relevant, even now. Early morning in Brooklyn, a bus screeches, a bottle rolls across the pavement, and a 12-year-old watches everything, quiet, still, calculating. This is fresh, no speeches, no sentiment, just survival, move by move. Sean Nelson plays Fresh, kid hustling drugs after school. He's not reckless, he's smart. Quiet confidence in every scene. You see him listening, watching, thinking 5 steps ahead. His world is brutal. Dealers, addicts, cops who look the other way. But Fresh doesn't panic. He plays it like chess, literally. His dad, played by Samuel L. Jackson, teaches him strategy on the board, and Fresh takes that strategy to the street. The film builds slowly, then hits hard. Scenes feel real because they were. Boaz Yakin wrote it fast, from a personal place. No gloss, no glamour, just the grind of getting through each day. It never found a wide audience. Too small, too quiet. But it's one of the sharpest films about inner-city life ever made. And Nelson never overacts. He holds every scene. By the end, when the last move lands, you realize what he's done, what it cost, and how long he's been carrying the weight. It's restrained, it's exact, and it stays with you. Now we move into something stranger. Chalky pink skies, a manicured garden, a tea party, but something feels off. We meet 2 teenage girls, Pauline and Juliet. Their friendship is obsessive, frenzied, overwhelming. They speak in their own language, create entire imaginary kingdoms from clay and papier-mâché, a world they call the fourth world, and the line between fantasy and reality, it cracks wide open. Their bond becomes a storm, creative, chaotic, dangerous. Every emotion is life or death. Melanie Lynskey plays Pauline, Kate Winslet plays Juliet, both making their film debuts, and they are completely hypnotic. Every glance, every breath is charged. Peter Jackson directs like he's inside their heads. Soft pastel dreamscapes, miniatures blending with early CGI, castles blooming in meadows, then vanishing in the cold light of day. The film never settles. It's constantly teetering between wonder and dread. Too intense for a teen drama, too stylized for true crime, too dark, too specific. In 1994, it didn't fit anywhere, and that's why it disappeared. But it's brilliant. The final image, a door swings open. Harsh half-light cuts across a blood-smeared diary, and you're left frozen, face to face with the terrifying power of imagination when it slips the leash. It's not horror. It's not fantasy. It's not biography. It's something else. Something that lingers, like a secret you were never meant to know. This is Shallow Grave. 3 flatmates, charming, clever, perfectly normal, until they find a corpse and a suitcase full of cash. That's when the masks drop, and the unraveling begins. A doctor, a journalist, an accountant, each one slowly swallowed by paranoia, greed, and guilt. You watch them fracture, real time. Christopher Eccleston starts off timid, but by the end, he's haunted, unrecognizable. Ewan McGregor brings the smirking charm of the journalist. Kerry Fox grounds the doctor with quiet calculation. The camera moves like it's panicked. Snap zooms, low angles, whip pans. It mirrors the chaos building inside these characters. It's Danny Boyle's directorial debut, made on a shoestring budget, but it moves like a bullet, tight, jittery. No fat, it won big at the London Film Festival and helped ignite a whole wave of British indie thrillers. But in 1994, it was too dark, too fast, too cynical. Audiences went for warmth. This film offered none, but that's why it holds up. The dialogue crackles, the violence stings. There's no redemption arc, just descent. And the final moment? One last knock from the attic, and then black. You're left with nothing but your thoughts, and that quiet dread of knowing they were never who they claimed to be. Nobody's fooled. Paul Newman plays Sully, a part-time handyman in a rundown New York town dealing with aging joints, unpaid bills, and a lifetime of regrets. He keeps people at arm's length, trades jabs with locals, tries not to care too much, but you can see it. He does. There's no big story here, just a man figuring out how to show up for others a little too late. Newman underplays it perfectly, dry, stubborn, and honest. It's one of his most overlooked performances, subtle and lived in. Bruce Willis is here too, supporting role, no ego. He waived his salary to work with Newman. They've got an easy rhythm. The cast fills out with Jessica Tandy, Melanie Griffith, Philip Seymour Hoffman, every scene grounded and believable. Released in 1994, it never found an audience. No hook, no flash, just a quiet adult drama in a year full of noise. Studios didn't push it, audiences missed it. But this one holds up. It's about people who mess up, who stay stuck, and who try in small ways to get unstuck. The final scenes don't give you a big speech, no redemption arc, just a man walking into a house, maybe for the right reasons this time. It's low-key, emotional without pushing it, and absolutely worth rediscovering. One of Newman's best, not to be missed. If you're enjoying these overlooked 1994 gems, take a second to like the video and subscribe to VintageVerse. We've got even more hidden classics coming. Falling from the top of a skyscraper, tie flapping in the wind, somehow delivering a monologue as he plummets. Could only be the Coen brothers. You're instantly dropped into this manic Art Deco whirlwind. Clock gears spin, secretaries march in sync, boardrooms echo like cathedrals, jazz horns, clacking typewriters, the world vibrates. At the center of this corporate maelstrom, Norville Barnes, played by Tim Robbins. Fresh out of business school, wide-eyed, completely out of his depth. Dropped into the deep end with one ridiculous idea, a circle. For kids, for hula hoops. Everything moves at breakneck speed. Dialogue zips, camera swoops and dives. Fortunes rise and fall in an instant. The Coens spin the whole movie like a giant loop, from dizzying elevator rides to stock market chaos to the perfect circle of the hoop itself. The production design? Astounding. The massive office lobby set built full scale, no CGI, just enormous physical design. It was a tough sell in '94, too weird, too stylized, too overtly silly for audiences leaning toward grittier or more sentimental stuff. Critics were split. It didn't fit a genre box. Comedy, fantasy, satire? Yes. Revisit it now. It's a gem. Big-hearted, incredibly clever, executed with bold, clear purpose. The final image, a single hoop rolling down an empty street. Slow, steady, still spinning. Strangely mesmerizing. Leaves you contemplating the journey of simple ideas in a complex, crazy world. Alright, our next film hits you with raw, visceral force right from the start. Forget smooth visuals for a second. You hear a beer glass shatter, and the sound just hangs in the air. Bar lights flicker, too dim to hide the exhaustion, the bruises. There's a palpable heat, voices rising, fists flying, and beneath it all, the deep, resonant pulse of haka drums pounding. It throws you into a world where tension and fury are constantly simmering just below the surface, or exploding violently onto it. We primarily follow Beth Hecka, played with incredible raw power by Rena Owen. She is fierce, quiet, deeply wounded, and every single moment of her life feels like an act of survival against the rage of her husband Jake. Jake is played by Temuera Morrison, who storms through the film with terrifying volatility like a fuse has already been lit. But Beth is the anchor, the heart. You watch her try to hold her family together, absorbing blow after blow, her gaze fixed on something beyond the immediate pain and fear. Rena Owens' performance is extraordinary. She bleeds through it, portraying the painful, dignified process of a woman trying to rebuild herself and her future against impossible odds. The film is brutal in its honesty, and that rawness might be part of why it wasn't a mainstream hit in '94. It didn't flinch from exposing the devastating impact of domestic violence and poverty within a Maori community in New Zealand. Its frankness was even debated in Parliament. But the film doesn't just leave you in the darkness. That closing image, a quiet karakia rising over the flats, soft, steady, unbreakable. It's about strength returning with the light. Swimming with Sharks. The sharp, solitary crack of a stapler echoing down a long, empty office hallway. That sound tells you everything you need to know. This isn't a dream factory. It's a place of survival, calculation, hierarchy. From the moment Kevin Spacey's character Buddy Ackerman walks into the room, it's clear you've entered a war zone. He's a high-powered studio executive, and every line he delivers is cold, precise, designed purely to eviscerate and crush the spirit of anyone within earshot. He's brutal. You see him through the eyes of the new assistant, played by Frank Whaley, who starts out bright-eyed and idealistic, and you just watch him unravel, minute by minute, under Buddy's relentless, soul-destroying abuse. The environment is a constant low-grade panic, phones ringing endlessly, coffee spilling, deadlines looming, insults hitting like physical blows. What makes the dialogue so sharp, so personal, so terrifying, is that much of it came directly from real-life horror stories, shared by assistants working in Hollywood at the time. That authenticity is palpable, pretty unsettling. And then, the film pulls off a power reversal, one you will not see coming and will not forget. It's a shocking, almost unbelievable shift that reframes everything you've just witnessed. The final shot is quick, vicious, and unforgettable. A stark, perfect image for the predatory nature of that world. The war, cicadas buzz in the still Mississippi heat. Treehouse boards creak under barefoot steps. And Kevin Costner stands quietly, watching his kids from the porch, a man carrying too much he can't put down. This is not a war film. Not in the usual sense. It's about the aftermath. Costner plays Steven, back from Vietnam, but never really home. He's trying to rebuild, to hold on to decency, to pass something good to his children, even when the world keeps taking. Elijah Wood plays his son, Stu, all scraped knees and firecracker pride, caught between backyard battles and the deeper war he doesn't yet understand. The war captures something rare, how trauma sneaks into summer, how grief hides in dirt, in silence, in the sound of a distant screen door swinging shut. Costner reportedly took scale pay so more could go toward the child actors. And you feel that choice. Every moment is rooted in performance, authentic, small, human. It was lost in the noise of '94, too tender, too slow, too quiet next to the Titans. But this film lingers. The final image? A boy, laying down his stick. Not in defeat, but in understanding. Sometimes the hardest part isn't going to war, it's learning how to live after it. Bullets over Broadway, spotlights pop on. Fast footsteps, voices raised, and a play that's falling apart before it ever opens. John Cusack plays a struggling playwright in 1929 New York. He wants to make art, but he needs funding, so he takes mob money. The catch? He has to cast the gangster's girlfriend. Jennifer Tilly plays her, loud, clumsy, not exactly theater-ready, but she surprises everyone. Chaz Palminteri plays the mob hitman tagging along. Turns out he's the one who actually understands storytelling. He rewrites the show, and it gets better. Palminteri was Oscar-nominated, so was Tilly. Both deserved it. Diane Wiest plays the aging diva. Big presence, big ego. She won the Oscar. No surprise, she dominates every scene she's in. And here's the thing, Woody Allen directed it. Back when he was still in top form. That part often gets overlooked now, but the script is tight and the timing's sharp. In 1994, it slipped through. Too theatrical, too talky, not loud enough for the year of Pulp Fiction and Forrest Gump. But it holds up. Great cast, fast pacing, and no wasted scenes. But the real story? It all happened backstage. Still worth seeing, still underrated, still one of Alan's sharpest late career scripts. Exotica. A man walks into a strip club, briefcase in hand, eyes heavy with something he won't say. The club is called Exotica, and what unfolds is not what you expect. This isn't about sex or scandal. It's about grief, control, and the strange, quiet rituals people build to survive loss. Bruce Greenwood plays Francis, a tax auditor drowning in personal tragedy. Every night, he pays to watch a dancer named Christina, played by Mia Kirshner, perform the same routine. Same music, same outfit. It's not erotic. It's almost sacred. You sense something's broken, but no one talks directly. That's the point. Everything is coded. Gestures, habits, silence. Director Adam Egoyan builds the whole film like a puzzle. The editing jumps between timelines. Clues hide in small glances, casual words, background objects. And it all fits, slowly, precisely, until you feel the full emotional impact. Don McKellar plays a pet shop owner with his own secrets. And yes, you'll recognize him as one of those familiar Canadian faces who shows up in quietly brilliant films. Exotica won the International Critics Prize at Cannes, but in 1994, most people missed it. Too quiet, too subtle, but if you give it your attention, it gets under your skin. One final note plays. The dance ends, and you're left in the dark, still thinking about what people never say out loud. Thanks for watching VintageVerse, where lost films find new life. If one of these hit you hard, share it. Subscribe for more hidden gems, and keep the reel turning towards stories that still matter.